wrong. Zach is the way.
Zach is the way.
Zach is the way. I mean, X Factor, Captain America, all that stuff. And Sean Phillips, I ain't heard nothing Sean Phillips did. And I am a comic book veteran by now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
What we got going on, guys? What's up?
Hey.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Jay Hood with Coach Vic and Al Shell, here to bring you another exciting episode of Pop Culture Clobbering Time, wherein we cover comics, movies, TV, and all the superhero fun, geeky stuff.
Oh, we're going to cover TV?
Well, I mean, you're
Magic Lasso.
TV, so.
I watched. Hey, did you guys watch X-Men '97?
Yes, I did.
No, I haven't. And I probably won't, actually. Even though I'm an X-Men fan, I was not brought up on it. It was like I was too old for that.
Dude.
Man.
Let me tell you, I wasn't a big X-Men 96 fan, whatever. 97. I watched it, but I hated the animation.
That was part of it. Mm-hmm.
But this, even though it looks like, they have like the poser bodies walking around and then they color over it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I dug it. Magneto in this is cool. He looks like he's very Romita Jr. in this. The suit they put in that. And
a genius.
Huh?
A genius.
Romita Jr. is a genius artist. That's what
there you go.
Understand.
I'm just saying, I dig it. I dig it. I dug X-Men '97, man.
Me too. I'm Team Magneto. I'm just put it to you like this. He made a lot of good points. I don't know if it's because I'm black or what, but I understand what he's talking about. Y'all just can't trust certain people.
Yeah. I still Cyclops. Everybody's eating Cyclops' lunch. I'm telling you, I don't care about. I still like. It's his voice. The voice don't work for me.
Morning, Captain Comics. Yeah, I was an X-Men purist when the cartoon came out, so therefore I was both too old. The animation looked too not great, and then it just was a poor imitation of the comics.
This animation has its moments. It's very. It feels like the Capcom versus Marvel animation. It kind of has that, and I love that. It's got more of an anime feel. And I love Gambit again, man. I like Gambit.
I love Gambit, except for they ruined Gambit right off the bat. Because what self-respecting Southerner is going to make a bunch of beignets without any powdered sugar on them?
Oh,
them dry looking. Come on, that's just
maybe ridiculous. He's allergic to powdered sugar.
Then he wouldn't make beignets. Period.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You gotta have like a half inch of powdered sugar on a beignet.
You gotta eat with your.
Do you add it while you're? So you add it while you're making it. You put it on there while you're frying it.
Before you serve it.
On its way into your mouth, you put a pile of powdered sugar.
So he was frying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't done.
Okay.
Except for Rogue was plating up and passing out to everybody. They were like, "Ooh, these are good." I'm like, "No, they're not. They're not with powdered sugar."
Okay, well maybe that's his style. See, that's what Gamma puts in there. He's like, "Listen, mon ami, I do this, I do that, but I don't put powdered sugar on my beignets."
Like we learned from my cousin Vinny, no self-respecting Southerner will make instant grits, and no self-respecting Southerner will make beignets without powdered sugar. They just make something else.
Mm.
There you go. He's a mutant. That's his mutant power, bro.
But I do have one question. One quick question before Jane moves on.
Yeah, we got.
What does Bishop do? I mean, I can shoot a gun. What makes him an X-Men?
I don't know. He's cool. He's got an M on his face. No, his power is to absorb any like power blasts and then reset. Basically, he's kind of like a
Gambit,
a U-tube where it goes in one end and comes out the other. Okay. He can blast it back at you.
All right, because I'm like, all he's doing is shooting guns. Why I got to do my girl Storm like that? Why I got to treat her like that?
To give her something to do, and the fact that they made her way too powerful that they had to depower her.
Mm-hmm.
This happened in the comic books. She lost her powers and then she had to get them back. She like gets them back, but
she does. Oh, spoiler!
Have you seen the comics?
No.
I mean, a new comic. She's got
Yeah.
powers. At one point, she didn't have powers.
Okay. Okay. Good point.
All right. So the idea behind this episode is our friends over at the And This Is Why I Love Comics podcast.
Why do you love
Why do you love comics?
Well, you gotta watch. You gotta listen to the show to find out why they love comics so
listen
much.
to what show?
You haven't said the name yet. You just said this is why I love comics. You just like went into loving comics all of a sudden.
Yeah, you talk about a whole different topic.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you love comics?
I love comics let me count the reasons. Let's move on so we don't take up the whole show explaining. And this is why I love comics, because we do.
Hey, C-word's here.
Yeah, he is. See what another fellow Hoosier.
Hoosier.
So here's the thing. Andy and Mike, the hosts of And This Is Why I Love Comics podcast, put together a list of comic book artists that they tried to be as inclusive as possible. And
you mean with white
Wait.
people? That might be a talking point. And so
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all are here.
They've set them up in a bracket system, and they have their group of like an advisory board that they've enlisted to help vote on
a blue ribbon advisory board.
That's it.
Nothing but the best comic people in the country on it.
And they had one spot left, and they're like, "Look, we got like 3 other people in mind, but if I wanted to do it, I could pitch in," and that's how I landed the job.
Nice.
So I'm on the board.
Ooh.
Al showing his latest pickups, very cheery. So the one of the things about the bracket is that it was not seeded as if the NCAA was involved in setting this up. So
that's good because they think they're seeding, but that's
I gotta say, this is some unfair seeding. There was some route jobs going on here.
They just like pull names out of a hat and that's who's going against each other.
They've not fully explained like the order, but it's just I think they just did brainstorming and they're like, this is it. And so you'll see some pretty big hitters going head to head right off the bat.
Yeah, some of my boys got. There's no way.
Like Joe Staten from Manhattan.
There were some serious upsets in the first round, so we're gonna do like Sports Center, and we're gonna like do the not the play-by-play, the analysis.
The highlights.
We're gonna break down some of the big battles that went down. And just kind of give our.
This is like putting Jordan Bulls versus a baseball team. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can't be. Some of these are just wrong. Sorry.
So some of these matchups we'll have a little bit more to say about, and others we'll probably dig in more deeply. But we'll get started with the first head-to-head battle in round 1 was J.H. Williams versus Frank Cho.
Yeah, next.
This
was kind of even and with the women. I think the girly. I think here's the thing. I go with J.H. Williams. I'll tell you why. Because he's all around. Frank Cho's got beautiful women, but his dudes are soft. Okay, his dudes are too pretty and soft. So I gotta go with J.H. Williams on that.
I agree. The talent level is somewhat even here, and kind of the body of work I think is rather even. The thing I don't like about Frank Cho is that he's, artists get into their method or formula, and now like if you've seen one Frank Cho piece of art, you've seen them all, in my opinion. You got any strong opinions on this one?
Wait a minute.
No.
Well, it's called style, Jamie. It's called style. And here, if you crap on him for that, you got to crap on Kirby, Byrne, Wrightson. You got to crap on all these artists. That is their style. And Frank Cho is funny. He is funny, but it's when I'm looking at I don't know. It's subjective. It is. Art is subjective. When I feel like a Frank Cho, I get some Frank Cho. When I feel like some J.H. Williams, I get some J.H. Williams. You got to get the right guy for the right job, the right artist for the right job, Yeah.
And this is why I love comics is throwing John Byrne on that pile of artists that became incredibly formulaic. And I agree. And for me, I'll enjoy an artist for a while, and I'll have eventually I get too much of them, and so
too much of a good thing.
This round I did happen to pick Frank Cho, and I liked
his women.
In some of these I had to come up with like, okay, what's my criteria, and it's which one would I like to read more of, and it was Frank Cho. Frank Cho did win that battle right there. The next one,
I thought we were doing our battle on here. I thought we were talking about what we got against theirs.
Well, he's going to get through it, but when we get to important,
I'm saying I love me some Frank Cho, but younger I like Frank Cho more because he like looking at girly forums all the time. Okay, but if I go to J.H. Williams, he's come so far and he's evolved with his art style. If you look at Promethea to now, it's good stuff. I'm telling you. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I can't vote on our side against theirs because I've already voted in this competition.
Oh, that's why Frank Cho won, was because of you.
I believe this was a 5-4 win, and if I remember. Here's the thing: listen to the show.
I know, baby. It's a winner. Who do you got?
I'm listening.
By the way, link to the info on the and This Is Why I Love Comics podcast. Their Facebook page is in the show notes.
Woo-hoo.
You see, he has beautiful art, which we're looking at. That's why we.
Okay, so this is the thing. We have to kind of pick our battles that we want to really break down because we just did 5 minutes on Jake Williams and Frank Cho. Next is Fiona Staples versus John Cassaday, who again I was like, yeah, they're kind of even, and I didn't have a super strong opinion on them.
Well,
and Brian Stelfreeze.
She did Saga, right? She did Saga.
Yeah.
What else did she do?
Saga.
She did a short run on Archie with Mark Waid.
Oh yeah, Sabrina. Didn't she do Sabrina?
No, this was like an Archie relaunch.
Okay, I thought she had Sabrina in there. Here's my thing. That's her style is kind of more the new indie style in a sense. I like her stuff.
Well, she does since Saga.
I don't know. Nothing I know of.
What has Frank Cho done lately? What has J.H. Williams been doing?
What
has Jack Kirby been doing in here?
I heard Frank Cho so far.
Anyways, I'll go with who was the other person? Oh, Cassidy, because Cassidy was the hot stuff, and whatever he did lately, he did his late that new Frank Miller aged picture that he was, But the only thing that bounced me on, I like John Cassidy. The only thing that bounces me on him is when he just uses the same picture, for the next panel, and it's like, oh, it's minute to minute. Sure, but it's just the same picture closer. But go ahead. I go with John Cassidy on that just because I have more of his books.
I think I voted for him as well, and he did win that round.
But she's great.
The next battle I think was more interesting, just trying to figure out who I like better. And this one was Frank Quietly versus Chris Pachalo. So I pulled up an example of each of their work. I'll put it up on screen here. Yeah. Let's go with Frank Quietly first.
What's wrong with Superman?
We'll read that. We'll get All-Star Superman there. That's a good run.
Yeah, but he's bruised. I mean, how do you get bruised?
He's not bruised. He's just
got color
cheeks.
Okay.
So that's an example of Frank Quietly there.
Who's the other guy?
That was Luthor. You got powers.
Oh. We're gonna read that.
Yeah, we'll read that eventually.
Okay, good.
All-Star Superman's fun.
And then this is. I was trying to find a larger image for.
Yeah, you're going with his less comic book work and more with his like lithographs there. I'm sure that wasn't a comic. Probably something they sold it like an art.
I can if I want to. The contrast in the styles here is kind of at the extremes where Bachalo puts almost too much detail and shading and stuff into his work, and then Quietly is very minimalist with pretty much relying on his line work.
Well, I would definitely go with Frank. I know Frank didn't win, but I go with Frank because he, like, I see this dude. I don't know. I like him, but like his Generation X stuff, his death stuff. It's what it is. And Frank Quietly always looked like I don't know. It's ugly. I like but I like ugly stuff. So I like he wasn't afraid to make these dudes look like bruisers or steal the Adam's apple and like make them look like they're wearing like soiled diapers. He's not afraid.
Yeah,
and he takes chances with his artwork. Whereas Chris he's got beautiful women all the time, and the dudes are out. There's no, I don't know. I like the beauty of Frank's ugliness. So I give it to Frank.
Talking bad about artists because he has beautiful women. That's funny.
No, I'm just saying it's like
in this case, if you look at Frank Quietly's women, they're not necessarily as kind of cute and attractive as a lot of other artists would draw them.
Okay.
He's kind of like Terry Moore in that like they're not rock hard. They've got a softness to them.
Yeah, it's like the different styles of art. You got your Picassos, your Van Gogh, and then you got your Dalis, and you got he's on that like, hey, it's comic book art, but yet it's like this is so much more interesting. Whereas Chris could be, he's an X-Men artist almost. He's kind of got that. He could get funky, he's got some funky stuff, but I don't know. I just like the ugliness of Frank, I guess.
Yep. So I'm gonna try and pull up some images for one of the battles we have coming up here. We'll skip one. Let's do Tony Moore versus Dave Stevens.
Oh, well, I know Dave Stevens.
Tony Moore did Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
So okay. He should have went against Fiona Staples, or they kind of got like a or a Corey Walker or a Ryan Otley. Yeah, you did have this ready when you started the show.
I thought we could do this live and then work.
So, anyways, if you'd like to look at my new books, look at this. Oh, look what I picked up, huh? If I could get them out of here. Oh,
who's my favorite comic book creator? Who did the Green Lantern?
Denny O'Neil. He was a writer. He was not an artist.
So
just remember that.
But you know who was the artist? Val Halverson. Where's he at?
Who?
Val Halverson. St. Louis guy.
Beautiful.
I haven't heard of him.
I have not heard of him.
Finger guns. By the way, when are they going to come up with another
This is the first cameo appearance of Darkseid right here.
Yep.
Oh, does the cameo count as the first appearance?
In that case, it does.
Since I have it, yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Copy.
It
is. It's a little flat on the side there. You can see the other side of the comic, but look at that beauty.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's tough to find that book in that nice condition, I'll tell you. All right, so next battle is, we were talking about this before the show started. Sean Phillips versus Mike Zeck. We had some opinions on this one.
I'll tell you what's criminal. Mike Zeck losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
I mean,
look,
I wasn't trying to find a more significant.
That's it. What about all those Punisher covers he did? Just shook the world. You know what I mean? How many? Come on. Sean Phillips. Yeah, you're good. You're good. But I'm looking at wrestling terms. Who's the draw here, right? Who's the draw? Who's main eventing? It's gonna be Mike Zeck. I don't care what you. Sure, he got looser and looser. He did the John Byrne, and he got looser and looser. He's very John Byrneite. He's very Neil Adams-ish, George Perez-ish when he gets in there. But man, come on, we're talking. I want to read comic books. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking to look at some boring, no offense, some static pictures. I want Kirby possessed artists, you know. And like, if you could give me some Buscema, even though it's Zach is not overrated at all. No, I'm sorry.
Hey, look at that.
Sorry, he's not overrated.
The black.
He's one of those dudes that you're like, you seen that cover and you're like, oh, I gotta get that. Okay?
And that's exactly what happened.
That don't give no. Come on, man.
I saw that cover.
Yeah. Gotta give me a little pleasure. Huh?
And this is why I love comics disagrees.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it does.
Who's heard of Sean Phillips?
Sis is overrated, I guess.
I mean, did he invent the light bulb or something? He worked for the film.
Yeah, this is bias. This is what this is. When he was growing up, he didn't like. He got sick of Zach. That's what it is. Look, I wasn't in love with Zach for my health. Yeah, come on, dude. Look, you think Zach's gonna do a layover and trace a background like that? Do a computer? Let's get a real photo and then color it. Zach would draw that whole thing, bro. That whole thing. Zach would make that way more. Oh, come on, this is pop art.
This is a guy who has a bunch of books of art in here. Of course, this is artwork. This isn't comic book work. This is artwork. Nobody's going to pay money for this.
Well, actually, the Secret Wars stuff was some of his weak work. But listen, check it out. You better give me a different thing on Sean Phillips here, because that just is not that. You know that, dude. You got to go into a fight with your hands tied behind your back. Is that what this is?
All right. Let me find pages.
That's all you. That's what you like, right? Is that what I know? JB.
That's what he likes. He likes
JB
art.
probably voted for the Sean Phillips dude.
I mean, he went to art school, right?
Yeah. Could you tell I went to? I graduated with an art degree.
Hey,
come on, man.
Feelings.
Hey,
it's a good thing.
You love it. This has JB written all over it. He should be liking Mike Zeck.
There you
go. I mean, same thing, artwork. But
we're talking about artists, right?
We're talking about comics.
I'm talking about people that made real cash that brought people to comic books.
Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips are supporting themselves making hardcovers of their comics. They don't even do floppies anymore.
Really?
Well, they're the problem. They're killing comic books.
They put out quarterly.
Listen, guys.
Quarterly.
You can have your image books all you want. You can have your. I want stuff that the kids will buy the books for too. I want Saturday morning cartoons. If I want to watch Sunday night movies, I'll look at this. You can't put these two against each other. You put them against someone else.
Cartoons all day. I got to have something at night that's more.
No, this is you dudes being old men. Okay.
I mean,
that's what it is. You're old and you don't have that child spirit in you anymore to know what you brought you to the dance. You want to look at you want to look at old dudes in the park feeding birds. That's what you want to look at.
Have you heard the large black man today? That's what you need. That's Sean Phillips, Hug. Bring it in. Bring it in.
All right, let's move on, or we're going to be here all day.
Hey, Sean Phillips is good. I'm not saying he's not good, but Mike Zeck's the draw. Okay, he's the draw, man.
I'm interested to hear your take on this next matchup.
Young Jock? Oh.
We're going to go with Ed McGuinness versus Walt Simonson.
Walt Simonson won, right?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I mean, well, I mean,
talking.
No discussion points on that. Okay, we'll move on.
I mean, once again, I heard of him.
It's another case of very drastic.
Mike Zack.
Oh, why are we skipping over your boy?
Who?
BWS, Mr. Monsters himself.
We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Hey, wait, real quick. Check this out, real quick. Mike Zack, Sean Phillips. Mike Zack's probably popping out so many comics in a month. He's doing covers. He's doing this. Okay. Sean Phillips probably takes 5 years to do 10 pages.
What's the last book Mike Zack drew?
Huh?
What was the last book Mike Zack drew?
Well, he's probably dead. I don't know. I'm talking about vintage, pure Mike Zack. This is what we're talking. We're talking about peak. We're talking about peak. We're talking about prime.
He is? I don't think he is. I don't think he's drawn a comic in 20 years.
I was trying.
I'm not saying that. Then take Kirby off. Take Kirby off. Take Neil Adams off. Then don't give me that, Jamie. You know what's going on. He probably I bet if he came back and drew it, it'd be probably quicker and better than that dude.
He just stole all of my passion.
Did I mention that Sean Phillips won in the bracket? So I'm not going to use Mike Zack as my save.
Who won more Eisners?
Who did you vote for, Jamie?
I voted for Sean Phillips. I think
okay,
that's pretty obvious.
Figured. You like your crusty old artwork.
All right, we're going to talk about Sean Phillips versus Mike Zack all day. Okay, next, Mike Kaluta versus Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, Bill, because I don't think Kaluta has as much range or he doesn't have as much stuff out there, I don't think.
Didn't we do a Bill Sienkiewicz episode?
We might. I don't think we have, but we should.
I mean, once again, if I heard of it, he must be good.
If you can pronounce his name, good on you.
Well, he's
good. He's again. He is like his style. He can do different styles. He does that highly like just super stretched body stuff. Mm-hmm. And then he can. He's got some great artwork. He is an artiste.
Puts tons of emotion and technique into his art in an unprecedented way. By the way, Andy is and this is why I love comics. The pronunciation is Sienkiewicz. So
Sienkiewicz.
The only reason I know how to pronounce it is because this is my first time reading it when I looked at this email.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard you say it a billion times.
I just think you guys forgot what brought you to the dance, and that's all right. You're too cool. You're too cool for the old music now. You're like Buddy Holly, the Beatles.
You weaker now, singing Buddy Holly.
Bob Dylan. You just come on. Even though Bob, never mind.
Jock versus John Byrne.
I mean,
dude, I can't even say it.
I didn't know he was an artist.
Jock, did I put the Jock cover up there?
If
the white Joker.
If anybody, I don't care. Okay, yeah, like again, he should have been against like Bill's Kenvich. He's more of that. That's different. See, this is two styles. They make interesting matchups, but you can't go against Byrne, man.
No.
Byrne is
baby Byrne.
Byrne, baby Byrne.
Like, and you want to talk about being overrated or whatever, like Mike Zack. These guys were making the comic book world back then. The stuff that you love. But now you forgot how much you love that. I mean, you want to try to make everybody look real and stuff. Man, Byrne got me in this thing. Okay. I love Byrne's West Coast, his Superman, his Fantastic Four, all that stuff.
I was shocked that this was not a landslide decision.
I'm not.
Listen to the show to get the breakdown on that.
Okay.
I'm not shocked because there's too many fuddy-duddies out there. That's what it is. You don't want to play with your toys anymore. You got to have your statues. Okay, it's not toys anymore. It's an action replica figure, something like that. That's what it is. These some pretentious babies. Okay, you can't admit to yourself that what was in there. Comic books for kids or for little kids, and we took them. Okay, we took it with it. We stole that. They said when you get older, you're supposed to let that stuff go, but we didn't. We brought it with us. And listen, Byrne is one of the best. What are you talking about? How many people have aped Neil Adams and all that good stuff? How many people ape Byrne?
Well, we've had Andy and Mike on the show before, and I think Andy's pretty clear on who his favorite artist is, and we'll talk about that as we go too.
Okay.
I'm saying true comic book fans that grew up, they like Byrne. The guys that like pinups.
We all like Byrne.
Listen, the guys that like pinups and single shots like the other dude.
Yeah, what do you have against us old people?
All right,
I'm old too, but I have a young spirit. Okay, I don't like to. Well, I can't eat Captain Crunch cereal anymore. It's oh my god! I can't believe we ever ate that. Like, man, come on, rip a box open and eat some Captain Crunch once in a while, Jamie. It's okay.
I'm a Fruity Pebbles guy, so.
Ooh, they got gluten free. It's garbage.
Up into this point, I had picked all the winners. This is the first one where the rest of the panel has let me down.
Really?
And we're gonna have a talking point on this because we recently reviewed one of the works here. Barry Windsor Smith versus Michael Golden.
Can I go first?
Yes.
I'm picking Michael Golden. Don't know anything about him. I just read Weapon X. That was long and dry.
But the art was good.
Huh?
The art was good.
You know what? You're right. He did the art?
The art was beautiful.
He just needs to start writing stuff.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, don't let it. Well,
and plus, I see this Monsters book every week, and so.
Look, this is hard for me, okay, because I like both.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little bit of the same. Here's the thing, like Michael Golden can do stuff that's like more like a Barry Windsor Smith, but he loves that comic book stuff. You know what I mean? If we're talking for comic book artists, Michael Golden wins, okay? Because I got some covers that I look at of his all day, all right? Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for something you're going to hang in a museum or something, you got Barry Windsor Smith. My favorite Barry Windsor Smith cover ever was the Armor Wars Iron Man, where he's in the Silver Centurion suit and he's got it all. That's beautiful stuff, you know?
I mean, basically, on the few stuff I've read that Barry Windsor Smith did the art on, he likes to make moments. He'll give you a poster. It's like, that's an amazing piece of art. I get that. I don't know what Michael Golden did, but if this is him, and, you know, I
think Michael Golden
did Star Wars, so I understand why Jay voted for him.
It's hard to say because they're different enough to where it's, but I used to love Michael Golden and Barry Windsor. I have to go with Barry Windsor Smith on it, man.
Yeah.
He did that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
But that's like I say, he does moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where my old man takes over. My old man, I say, oh, Barry Windsor Smith. You know.
Anybody can make a banging purple cover. Is this when Storm gets her powers back?
Actually, it is.
That's funny because that's not until the next omnibus. They knew how to milk a story, didn't they? Did she not have her powers for like 3 years?
A few years, yeah. All right, let's stop that one, and then
I think Barry Windsor Smith should have went against like Bernie Wrightson or Bill Sienkiewicz. This is Michael Golden?
That's cool too.
This is like newer, isn't it?
This is from a Marvel Fanfare issue.
Oh, okay.
It's not an iconic piece, but it definitely displays his ability.
Yeah, I like him. I like his just I get when I look at Michael Golden, I could see where like Todd McFarlane kind of came from, in a sense, like with Feet later, But that's just me. But I like Michael Golden. He's a Saturday morning cartoonist, and I love it. But he can do these good. Check out some of his GI Joe covers, and it's just
or the Nom.
He does some great GI Joe stuff.
You have a lot of those books, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, back to Mike Zeck. Go check out some Mike Zeck GI Joe covers, and then you can kiss it on the way out. Dude, that cover Mike Zeck did where Destro and Dr. Mindbender are carrying out the mummy from that tomb. That's epic stuff. You guys, anyways, I'm all about Mike Zeck. Sorry, whoever that other guy was. Sorry. Why you should love Mike Zeck.
This one.
That's what I'm here to. No, I go with Barry Windsor on that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Michael Golden's Nam stuff was that's what I'm saying. Look, okay, you're making me think twice. That's why I said he can do this stuff. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm going with Michael Golden because he can do the Barry Windsor Smith stuff, but he can also have his Captain Crunch in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think Michael Golden was ahead of his time in the fact that he kind of adapted a more manga-esque approach to his art in that his faces were rather cartoony and on purpose, purposefully cartoony, but everything else was drawn realistically.
Well, he also had a like Sunday morning cartoon like style,
kind of a cell shaded style. That's absolutely true. Especially,
I mean, like a newspaper. Like I could see his style in a newspaper too.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, like it's
or just like a Playboy, like a Bill Ray stuff. That kind of face.
There are comics in Playboy.
Yeah, they like single shot things. Like,
oh, see,
don't ask me how I know.
I used to look at Playboy for the movie.
Don't ask me how I know.
And also, if you look at like Mad Magazine and Cracked, okay,
who did the art for Mad Magazine?
It's good stuff.
The most recognizable name in Mad Magazine was Jack Davis.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. He's got that kind of. He can do that,
Mad Magazine just to get me through the Saturday morning detention. Jamie up here studying Mad Magazine for stuff other than just to get through.
Him. That's Butch guys.
All right. Let's just go to the next guy.
All right. We move on, right? Who do we got? Who'd you say? You picked Michael Golden, didn't you?
All right. They want to spend 18 minutes on one guy.
Absolutely right.
Hey, wait a minute. Who did you pick? Jamie, I want to know who you picked.
I picked Michael Golden and he lost.
This is funny because like you didn't like Mike Zeck, but then you're going for Michael Golden on this.
No,
I feel like they're kind of
Phillips more than like Mike Zeck. He did not like Mike Zeck. He just didn't make Mike Zeck measure up to Sean Phillips, which is asinine. How that was. I mean, I don't know anything about Sean Phillips, but I just know.
We're 40 minutes in and we're 10.
All right, let's go. Let's zoom through some of the ones we don't care about.
All right, Gil Kane versus Marshall Rogers.
Heard of Gil Kane, so he wins.
See, Marshall Rogers should have been against Michael Golden. They have a more similar style.
Alan just wants to reformat the whole thing.
Gil Kane for sure, man. Yeah, Gil Kane's the dude. But I like Marshall Rogers.
All right, so here was a painful draw.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Giordano versus Jack Kirby.
Exactly. What did Jack Kirby do? Nothing. Dick Giordano, everything.
Okay, let's just say I love Jack Kirby, but when it comes to Dick Giordano, right?
Mm-hmm.
I pick Jack Kirby. No, he is the house guy. Dick Giordano was the house artist. You know, he was the guy. Yeah, come on.
The Dick Giordano do
right?
stuff in the Kirby style of art.
Huh?
The Dick Giordano do stuff with the Kirby style of art.
No. I mean, they were pretty radically different, but I'm going to see if there was ever a case where Dick Giordano inked Jack Kirby.
Ooh. He's more of like you could see him in a catalog. He's a catalog artist. I think he had more real. He had way more of a realistic style, closer to a Neil Adams and he used to ink Neil Adams, didn't he?
Yeah, he inked all of Neil Adams' major work.
I mean, I don't want to put him down because I do. He is great. He's good, but it's like Sean Phillips. It's there. It's not as exciting.
Yeah, I'm not coming up with anything else.
I know Sean Phillips is great. I just when you bring it to the table, I'm going to go with whimsy and you know, did you put that Punisher cover against any of that stuff, and you'll just be like, oh man, it's like putting Rambo versus like, you know, freaking. I don't know. Wait, what's a bad movie or a good movie?
All right. So, okay, next. I couldn't find an example of Dick Giordano versus inking over Jack Kirby, but my thing with Dick Giordano versus Jack Kirby is Dick Giordano did draw comics, and when he was near the era where he was drawing or inking over Neil Adams, his art was better, and the further away he got from that, his art kind of degraded a little bit. But he was also editor-in-chief of DC Comics during Crisis. He's got a legendary career.
Would you consider Jack Kirby the number one seed in this whole tournament?
Yeah.
So would that make the next guy number two?
Would make the guy number two. Like
I tell you what, Dick Giordano, unsung hero, because he kept that place going. You know, you can't. There's creators, and then there's like the line boss, you know, the guy that's like, all right, we're doing this. Okay, I'll do this. I mean, some of his stuff on Crisis was some of my unfavorite of most stuff I didn't. His art stuff. I always wanted, if it was going to be inked by anybody, should have been Jerry Ordway, but they got him in there, and I was like, really?
I've heard of him too.
But thank you, Dick Giordano, for everything, because I think he's the glue. He kept a lot of stuff together.
For sure.
And it wasn't stinky glue. He was good glue.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have someone, you want Dick Giordano in there keeping it together.
Yeah. All right. Next matchup was another major, had another major industry player in it, and it was a huge upset.
Upset?
Stuart Eminem versus Jim Lee. Yeah, this is wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's too different. I would have put Stuart Eminem or whatever his name is against like John Cassidy or something, because they kind of. But here's the thing, guys. I love both.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking Stuart got better as he went along. Jim Lee got, hey, I don't care anymore. I'm a millionaire. But if we're going against peak to peak, oh, man, some of those X-Men's were just beautiful. But, man, that's hard for me. I don't know if I can.
Just say it.
I like Stuart Eminem. I've always liked it since the early stuff where he was just like, that's bad. But then he's got a whole range. Jim Lee sparked a revolution, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But this is my one where I'm like, no, I got to go with Stuart, because I bought comics because of him, his art. I bought comics because of Jim Lee's art, but he's my Mike Zeck. Jim Lee's my Mike Zeck. I think people talk too much about Jim Lee. So, but I love Jim Lee, you know? I'd rather pick up a Stuart Eminem, whatever, Stuart I Fantastic Four over Jim Lee's Fantastic Four that he did, the Heroes Reborn junk. Give me a Stuart Fantastic Four, like, you know, like that. So, hot take. Go ahead.
I'm trying to pull up an image here.
You don't have to. We can just go by my word.
Well, here's a case where I'm in complete agreement with you. I love Stuart Eminem, and at a certain point in his career, he could have been, I
see a lot of that Chris Pachalo in there too. This picture.
Yeah, he could have been blamed for being influenced by Jim Lee to a certain extent in certain parts of his career, but I think he's also been influenced by a bunch of other artists like Adam Hughes and Chris Pachalo and many others, Mike Mignola, and I think
Stuart M&M's. Yeah, sorry. M&M's.
The kind of his what I would call his mature style is to me maybe the best comic art ever. Just the way that everything came together for him.
Okay, but here's the thing: between this picture and a Jim Lee, I'd probably get the Jim Lee.
Really?
This isn't my favorite stuff there.
Who did the original X-Men?
Jack Kirby.
Jack Kirby?
Oh. Well, geez. You just reminded me of another reason not to like Jack Kirby.
Why?
He made Storm white.
Dude, no. He didn't draw this. And Emma Frost. Emma Frost was...
She was introduced in the Giant Size X-Men #1.
Oh, who drew that?
That was Dave Cockrum. Where's Dave Cockrum on this?
He's in here.
Okay. Let's get going. Let's go. Okay, this is semantics here. This is just like subjective.
Hold on. I'm gonna give Jim Lee his day here. I'm picking my favorite piece by him.
Yeah, look at that. Come on. I mean, female bodies are what they are, but this is fun still. I said, you can't eat your Captain Crunch, can you? You want your oatmeal.
Well, I voted for Stuart Eminem, and I would have saved him if he got bumped out.
Oh, there's a save?
Yeah, you get one save in the whole tournament.
But I love them both. But if you're gonna put this is young Al stuff here. This is like until he just ruined X-Men.
Yep.
That was fun. That's some fun stuff. Jim Lee back then was the mixture. He had the taste of the Rob and the Todd McFarlane stuff in there, but he was so much better.
He was the best of all those guys.
I know. Well, Mark Silvestri, I like Mark Silvestri too, but all I'm saying is,
Mark Silvestri got better after Jim Lee influenced him.
I think Stuart of Mine had some better stuff than what you just showed. I think that was too muddy. I think that's your stuff. You like. I want to take this cloud. I want to take this white pure cloud, this angel cloud, and I want to just put some dirt all over it or something.
All right, we're gonna do a speed round through a few of these.
All right.
Joe Staton versus Sal Buscema.
Who?
Joe Staton versus Sal Buscema.
Ouch. Okay, so Joe Staton should have been against like Marshall Rogers.
Speed round is.
So speed round. I go with Sal.
Yeah.
I had to pick Sal too, even though I don't like his art. I wish both of those guys would lose.
I've heard of him.
Charlie.
What are you talking?
I've heard of Sal Buscema.
No, you've heard of John Buscema. Sal is his brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, his Hulk is great.
Oh, then
okay.
I don't care that.
Sorry,
it's Saturday morning cartoony. Listen, Joe should have been against Marshall Rogers. He should have been against like Michael Golden. Okay, that's what more like their artwork is closer.
Here's one that is really out of whack. Charlie Adler versus Frank Frazetta.
Charlie Adler, he's the dude that did.
He did Walking Dead after Tony Moore. Okay. Tony Moore only did the first trade worth of work on that.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You got Frazetta is like not even a comic book artist.
He drew comic books. I mean, it's Golden Age and early Silver Age probably, but
dude, Frazetta's on hold. Frazetta's a guy that people want to be. So it's like it's not even, no.
Well,
You could Frank Frazetta would probably take this whole thing if it was,
He might have been the best artist to ever draw a comic.
To draw, yeah. Well,
here's a question: Are there many modern artists in here? I would say 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuart Eminem was definitely in the 2000s.
Okay. Eminem.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Kurt Swan versus Greg LaRocque.
Kurt Swan for his tightness.
Yeah.
Greg LaRocque was
because I don't think he deserves to be on this list.
Okay. Yeah, he's not. Oh, so he had a good run with the Legion of Superheroes and Flash.
I read the work. I never enjoyed the art. And
yes, it's subjective, brother.
Interesting fact. Who does the X-Men show with John? No Good Comics.
Yeah.
No Good Comics channel is the son of Greg LaRocque.
He is?
Yeah.
Cool.
So
tell him
I don't mean to disparage the work.
Taking money off the dinner table?
He made a living drawing comic books, and I never did, so my head's off. Pat Broderick versus Jim Steranko.
Steranko.
Because you know the name.
I've heard of him.
Look. Steranko did all I know he did was Captain America and Nick Fury.
Yeah.
To me, he should have been against Michael Golden, I think. They kind of have a
Michael Golden was definitely influenced by Jim Steranko.
Yeah. That's kind of the same. Pat Broderick is like a more cartoony version of like Barry Windsor Smith, I think. His art, it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like I will go with Pat Broderick.
What?
Yeah, because
it amazes me your guys' knowledge and callback of all these guys. Like I just know what I heard y'all brag about or talk about, but it just amazes me and the specificity with which you guys can recall certain things, certain splash pages and things like that. That just amazes me.
That's because we rotted our brains. I'll tell you why, Pat Broderick, because I don't know. He's got a way different style. Jim Steranko, I think, a little bit overrated because his bodies weren't all that great, and everybody. But I do love me some Jim Steranko cap, but I think Broderick, even on his Captain Atom stuff, those covers, those were some like cool comic book covers. It's a toss up, but if I'm gonna, I don't know, man. I can't. I'm more of a. I guess I'll go with Pat Broderick just to be contrary, you know.
I don't hate.
He deserves his. Let me just say this: he deserves his flowers. Just because it's not your cup of tea. I'm going with him because I'm more comfortable with him.
Yeah. Here are my thoughts on both artists. Pat Broderick, I like his art when he's at his best, but that was pretty rare.
Same with Jim Steranko when he's at his best.
So therefore,
I'm great at my best.
The whole body of work, I am not the biggest fan. Side note, I've colored Pat Broderick art.
I know. I'm going at peak. Yeah. I'm talking peak.
Okay.
Hi.
So and then Jim Steranko. My opinion of Jim Steranko is that yes, he is overrated. If it wasn't for his personality, I don't think that his art would have been as held in high regard as it is. So there's my hot take.
I'm going with Pat because he needs some flowers. I'm going to give him those flowers, and I loved his Captain Atom covers. I'm not necessarily a big fan of.
But neither one was ever an artist where it was like, I got to go buy that guy's work.
Yeah, well.
All right, Bill Everett versus Joe Kubert.
Kubert.
Joe who?
Joe Kubert. You ever heard of him?
No, the other guy.
Bill Everett.
Oh. That's hard. But Joe Kubert all friggin' day, bro. He would wipe the floor with the majority of these cats on this list.
For me, Or Kubert. I'm sorry.
I mean, this was another terrible draw. John Romita Sr. versus Ross Andrew.
Oh, wait a second. Romita Sr., he did Black Panther.
Did he?
Didn't he do the one that you gave me? On Shuri and all them?
No, that's Junior.
Oh.
Look, I like Ross.
Oh, I was this close to knowing something.
I like Ross, but Ramita Classic.
Yeah.
Give it up. Give it up. Give it up and get it took. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
That's
then, Ramita goes through because he made Junior.
No, man. His style was, oh my goodness. I love me some Ramita.
Also the art director at
Ramita Classic all day.
Nothing
Ross Andrew gets his props, though, because, you know.
Right. Gene Colan versus Wolf Portaccio.
Who?
Gene Colan. Colan, or whatever.
Wolf Portaccio was one of the Image guys.
I mean, I like the craziness of Portaccio or whatever. I don't know. I mean, WP. We'll call him WP. But Gene Colan, man, he's so moody.
Dracula stuff, yeah.
The art is so. That's like you gotta have a buffet, and he is like, ooh, there's a steak right there, baby. You know what I mean?
He's the one where he's done a fairly significant body work on Batman that I don't own. Those are some of the Batman issues I look for.
Which ones?
It'd have been like the 80s era Batman.
No, who did the artwork on it?
Gene Colan.
Okay.
It's funny because as a kid I didn't, man, but then I appreciate his stuff so much. I respect his stuff. That's
definitely.
He's a respect. He did a lot of Wonder Woman's too.
Yep. Sergio Aragones versus Jerry Ordway.
Oh, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, right? For Jerry Ordway.
No,
that's Jack Kirby. Well,
a lot of artists. Here's the problem with this. This is two different art styles. This is a cartoonist versus a comic book artist. Like Jerry Ordway could go. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that if you're like, well, let's get him to do it. I can't. Jerry Ordway, but you can't. That's not even a fair. That's not fair.
I believe that was almost an even split, but Jerry Ordway won.
Yeah, I think that's
this next one was interesting, and this is why I Love Comics mentioned this was his most difficult decision to make was Tim Sale versus Alan Davis.
It's funny. I'll tell you something funny about this. I've heard of Tim Sale and Alan Davis, both of them in sports.
Oh, sure. Names are repeated. But
I think one's a pitcher, the other was a high school basketball coach. That's all I know.
I like Tim Sale's uniqueness in a sense. He's very unique. But Alan Davis for me, not just because he shares the first name, just this dude, it's Alan Davis, man. And if you say he's overrated, like Mike Zuck or whatever, John Byrne, we can't talk. We can't.
I don't think he's overrated. I think he's he is one of my favorite artists.
Oh, you went with Tim Sale.
I'll be honest, I can't remember which one I voted for, but I think I would vote for Tim Sale. And it was a very difficult decision to make.
It was Alan Davis all day.
Let me pull up some examples. These are going to be more weak examples of both, but that's why I'm finding in a hurry.
Well, let's just go on. We know who they are. We know they're.
All right. So I will show the work.
I do like Tim Sale's ugliness, though. He's got a lot of ugliness, and I like his stuff, just like Frank Wiley. So
I think I voted for Tim Sale from the standpoint of he was not as influenced by other artists as I think Alan Davis was. I think Alan Davis is very Neil Adams inspired. So next battle was Mike Deodato versus Mobius.
Who? Mike Deodato? Come on, man. Who farted? Someone farted in this thing? You don't think Greg LaRock should have been here? Mike Deodato should not even be near. He shouldn't even be able to sniff this list. Okay.
I don't
Whoever put him on here, go back to the end of the line and just lay down for the other people to wipe their feet. Okay. No way is that guy on here. Hey, I got an idea. Let's use some computer graphics and draw over him. That's great.
All right, then. You'll be happy to know that Mobius,
sorry, he might be a great
Mobius
person,
did win that round.
Wow.
but his art, he's the only guy I know that started off garbage and then just like he's more garbage now.
He's a more polished piece of garbage, huh?
Is it polished or is it just like a poser figure drawn over? It's like a Greg Land or something. That's what he went. He's like, hey, look at I can bring up a picture and draw over it.
Oddly enough, Greg Land was not on this list.
It shouldn't be.
Keith
Sorry,
Giffen.
man. I know I'm gonna catch some heat, but if you voted for Mike Diodato and you crapped on Mike Zeck, Jack sucks, man. Oh, Diodato belongs
Once
in
again,
the
they just think Sean Phillips is better than Mike Zeck.
Keith Giffen versus Brian Hitch.
I think we lost people. I'm sorry.
I like the movie Hitch.
Keith Giffen, hey Biggie Shack. Thanks for joining us, man.
Biggie.
We are running through the
Shaq Tunney. We need Shaq Tunney in here to put the kibosh on some of this BS voting.
This is a comic artist bracket, so we're going over the winners and losers.
And this is why I love comics.
Indeed. Let's see here. Where did we end up?
Mobius.
No, did we get an answer on Keith Giffen versus Brian Hitch?
Brian Hitch. I like Keith Griffin, but Brian Hitch is.
Yeah, like I said, I like the movie.
Jeff Darrow versus Chris Somney.
Darrow, man, Darrow is crazy. He puts in a lot of beeps and bloops. You know, he's got those. I mean, this isn't a technical saying.
He's much like Frank Quietly style-wise.
Yeah. Chris Sammy, I love Chris Sammy. He should have been against like Fiona Staples or whatever. They kind of got that style. I love Chris Samney, but for getting a different taste, I'm going to go with Jeff Darrow. So
Really,
Jeff Darrow should have been against, I think, Morbius or whatever. Mobius.
I mean, that's the thing. If you think about it from the standpoint of what artists are really influenced by others, once they get to that head-to-head battle, let's get the first guy's going to win.
Yeah.
Chris Somney did win that. I think it was a rather even split.
Yeah, well, he's fresh. Jeff Darrow, I don't know where he's been.
Jeff Darrow got saved though.
That's the note on the list, but I think that was an error.
Okay.
Let's see here. Salvador LaRocca versus Mike Grell.
Was that the other guy's other son or brother or what?
Totally different guy.
So the X-Men guy, right? He's done X-Men all of yeah. I'm going with Mike Grell because
you've probably seen his work on Avengers.
Yeah. I'm going with Mike Grell. I mean, it's not I wouldn't eat it all the time, but he's brought more to the table, I think.
That was my vote as well.
Creatively.
And Salvador LaRocca won that battle. Which,
of course he did, because he's the flavor of the.
Well, oddly enough, I think, and this is why I love comics, voted for LaRocca too. But he's a Legion of Superheroes guy. I was surprised he didn't pick Mike Grell.
Well, Mike Grell is
best.
Mike Grell feels like when my dad draws, I'm like, oh man, that's good. I like it. He's more of like I could see his as a painter, and just Longbow Hunter and all the good stuff that he's done. He brought Dreadstar. He created Dreadstar, and that's what I look at too. I'm not just looking at they did some good art here one time. It's good. I'm looking at what you bring to the table. What?
Didn't he do Warlord for DC as well?
Yeah, and that's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know, Salvador LaRocca. It's great. I like your art, but what have you created?
Next battle: Jill Thompson versus Travis Charest.
Oh, well. Jill Thomas, he used to do a lot of Dark Horse, though, didn't she? Grail's done more, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I would go to Travis just because dude, I've loved that dude since that crappy Flash annual he did.
Yep.
And his Wildcats covers, but it's just pinup stuff. But I don't know. I go with him because I'm more familiar with his work. And Jill Thompson, was she the one that she kind of draws like?
She does like somewhat cartoony watercolors now. And
I haven't seen it, so I can't. I take myself out of this one because I think they're two different artists. They're two different kinds of genres. That I think she's a lady.
She's Brian Azzarella's wife. Not that matters, but just coincidentally, I'm pulling up a piece of
her. I remember her doing like Star Wars covers and she did some. I think she did a pinup or something of Jericho one time from the Titans. It's like she did a.
This is one of her more current pieces. She does a very like children's book style.
Oh, all right. I'll go with that. I'll go with her. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I get what you're saying about watercolor style.
She could probably spit them out quicker too. Travis is still drawing the end of the Wildcats run that he started. So I don't know.
He has been posting stuff on Instagram lately. But yeah, he was famous for like just going off the grid because he didn't have to draw comics for a living anymore. Sam Keith versus Mike Wieringo.
Ringo. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Man, Ringo, baby, that's another guy. He shifted my brain, you know. I liked him. I liked his stuff with Robin and Flash. It was cartoon, you know. That was when it was acceptable. The kind of, you know, with Sam Keith, he's another one of those dudes. If Ringo was alive, he'd still be doing the game. Sam Keith came, got his money, and took off. And like he's just doing like doodles somewhere on for you know, probably. Sam Keith's still in the game.
I think he dabbles. He's an interesting story in that he let like the fame of being a comic book artist get to him, and by that I mean he wasn't looking for that. That's what he got, and he felt the pressure, and he got fed up with the industry and left.
Well, here's the thing. He did like yeah, sure, Keith is good and it's cool what he's doing, but like what did he bring like besides a lot of emulators? Like man, Ringo has some good stuff though, dude. He had some fun like here's another thing about him. His artwork told stories.
Yeah, like what?
He could do panel to panel stuff. Where I think Keith was just like, I'm going to draw this, and then we'll make a story in it, out of it, you know. That's what we should be looking at all these guys.
Yeah, I'm not finding any good pieces to pull up for Ringo off the bat. So
that's
if you're not familiar with him, look into it. Biggie Shack says he'll take Sam Keith.
Yeah. I'll take a poster of Sam Keith, but
all right, let's see. Next up,
the champ is here.
Kevin McGuire versus Scotty Young.
The champ is here. The champ is here.
Apparently, Victor likes one of these artists. Okay, expound upon your favorite artist,
Scotty Young. I mean, he's gonna win the whole thing hands down. Except for all you pretentious artist people don't like his stuff. Because it's fun, exciting, and fun. Y'all just want cool. We want dark Batman stuff, as you can see. Dark, scary. But no, we got fun, lighthearted. Fun. Yay. Fun. See, look, we got Miles, We got Spider Gwen. We got some other posers.
Real Spider-Man doesn't count anymore, huh?
Do you have to ask?
Oh, my mistake.
Miles is the real Spider-Man. The other one died.
I voted for Kevin McGuire. And,
Really?
Yeah. And
That's cold-blooded. You knew we were going to have this discussion eventually, and you voted against me.
I didn't vote against you. Scotty Young won. So there you go.
I mean, Scotty Young is probably one of the best black artists out there right now.
What?
I've never seen a picture of him. I just assume he's black.
Yeah, me neither. So I can't say anything.
I said I've never seen a picture of him. I'm assuming he's black. How else could he be that good?
Next up, this was an interesting battle. Gary
Kevin McGuire is my dude. Sorry. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I knew it. But,
well, Jamie, I'm assuming if Jamie voted for Kevin McGuire, you're voting for Kevin McGuire.
No, wait a minute. Let's go back to the beginning. He's voting for Sean Phillips. I'm voting for Mike Zach.
Because you guys don't share the same affinity for Scotty Young that I do. Because y'all are
dude, I used to do Hero 2D stuff, cartoony stuff.
Really?
And they were, you try to emulate Scotty Young. No, I never even heard of the guy for a long time. I don't hate his stuff. It's good for what it is. His style is great. It's nice. It's wholesome. I love it. He's fun. That's good. I like fun. But if you're going against Kevin McGuire, come on.
All
right. Gary Frank versus Ron Garney.
Wait, Shaq doesn't know who Kevin McGuire is? You kidding me?
Oh, thank you.
So Biggie, he's the artist from the Bwahaha era of Justice League, where they had
this dude he can show facial expressions like nobody else. His facial expressions are fantastic.
He knows his work for sure.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. My goal is for them to name an artist y'all don't know.
There was a few I had to go back and
look
I was a little bit rusty on. I'd heard the names though. So
Norm Brayvogel on this list because I feel like he should be.
He is, yes.
Okay.
So
we're not getting to him, huh?
Gary Frank and Ron Garney, who you like there?
Gary Frank, Ron Garney. Oh man, that's hard. Where Gary Frank started out, where Ron Garney started out. Man, I like both of them. I don't know, but I will pick up. I've picked up more books because of Gary Frank. I'll say that.
Okay.
Because I like Ron Garney, but there's stuff I won't follow him on.
You're talking about, are there any modern artists on this list? Both of these guys are, in my opinion, are the top of the game.
Oh, okay.
Right now, they both work right now. They're both incredible storytellers. I believe I voted for Gary Frank, but I wasn't disappointed that Ron Garney won.
Ron Garney won. Okay.
Yep.
What's his modern job?
He did that 12-issue Berserker run.
Okay, so he's actually doing stuff outside. Yeah, Gary Frank. I don't know. Yeah, I have to go again. I might go look at this Berserker stuff and might be up there. So I don't know.
Is that the Keanu Reeves one?
Yep.
Oh.
Let's see. David Finch versus Darwin Cook.
Harvey Finch.
Finch? No, dude, Darwin Cook, brother. Like
I just heard of David Finch.
He did Moon Knight and a lot of other stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's an Image guy.
Oh, David Finch did?
Yeah, he also did Avengers. He was a really popular artist for a while. He started out with Top Cow.
Cook all the way, man. I like his. I mean, he's the guy that could transfer his his style, his animation style, and it made it fun because he had some Kirby in there, you know. So of course I'm gonna love that.
Anyways.
So which one you going with? Darwin Cook?
Cook, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Slam dunk.
I have the absolute edition of New Frontier.
Yep.
I bought all the spirits because he was doing them.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was golden. Okay, so
Let's see here. Amanda Conner versus Dave Sim.
Dave Sim done anything with Cerebus?
He's done some stuff since Cerebus, but it's kind of hard to follow. And if you're not into what he was doing, you wouldn't know.
Amanda Connor does boobs, right? Power Girl all the time.
Yeah, sure. But she draws them in a respectful way, not like a overly sexual way. But she's a woman, so that's how she's going to do it.
It's fine if she does it. Yeah, I think for just Sim, Dave Sim, because Cerebus was so big, was actually the word I'm looking for is like where Amanda Connor is a good artist. Sim brings it all, you know, because he's got this character that went over 300 issues. That in itself adds to the mystique. That adds to the legend. So I'm going to take him.
I believe I voted for him as well, and Amanda Connor won. Okay. Yeah, that was a matchup that I didn't have a big dog in that fight. This was an interesting matchup, and probably a bad draw for one of these artists. Alex Ross versus Terry Moore of Strangers in Paradise.
I have an opinion. Uh-huh. I would say Terry Moore. I love Alex Ross's stuff, but didn't he kind of sell out? I mean, doesn't he just do covers now?
Yes.
I mean, he sold out to $1.
Yes and
no. Do some work inside of a book.
He did a fantastic.
All right, we could just skip over this one, and it's not worth. I go with Alex Ross. Simple fact is because another game changer. And he should have been against someone else, like a Bill Skevachevich or Bernie Wrightson. Put him against them, and then we might talk. We might have some talks then. Alex Ross versus Bernie Wrightson.
I mean, but aren't y'all curious though? I mean, don't y'all feel like he sold out? Just does the cover for everybody?
He's just on a whole nother level.
Oh,
it's like blaming a.
I mean, there's a reason why he gets to do covers, right?
It's like blaming a major sports star for jumping teams for more money. He's just making it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right. I mean,
I think he got tired and he can't draw comics.
I just tried to be controversial and y'all just poo-pooed me, so I'm just gonna play it straight.
All right, we're about 2/3 of the way through.
Let's go.
Frank Miller versus John Buscema.
John Buscema. Sorry. It's just okay. Just don't even joke about Frank Miller. Frank Miller couldn't hold a pencil. No offense.
Frank Miller, he only did one issue of Watchmen, so.
What? I don't even hear what he said.
I said Frank Miller only did like 2 issues of Watchmen, and so yeah, he quit. He's a quitter.
Frank Miller, wrong hand, right there. Frank Miller.
That's Klaus Johnson.
Oh yeah, Batman.
Klaus Johnson did Dark Knight Returns. He did the cover. But see, was the dude, man. Don't get out.
He did all the interiors too, plus incredible runs on
everything.
Daredevil and
Fantastic Four.
Is that why you never finished the Watchmen?
Are you talking about Frank Miller?
Yes.
He's a writer. He's not an artist, dude.
Oh, this whole role is Frank Miller, isn't it?
Well, I'll give him this. For his art, what it is. I like his art when it's like Sin City, all that stuff. Love it. But if you're going against John Buscema, dude, come on. You're doing the Mike Zeck junk now. You should be ashamed of yourself.
No, the majority of this is personal preference, and if I go if I go through, the comics that I've enjoyed the most in my lifetime, Frank Miller has played a role in a bunch of those. And it's not that I dislike John Buscema or don't respect his work. I had to pick Frank Miller, but I lost in this round, and I'm not saving him. So
here is the problem. This is why I tell you why he lost. Because when I think of Frank Miller, I think writer. I don't think artist. If I'm going to take art between the two, you're going to get John Buscema all over the place. Okay.
Biggie Shaq's backing you up, man.
He said Buscema's top 10, so there you go.
All right.
Well,
Buscema, early prime Buscema, man, come on. They wrote the book. They wrote the book.
I bet if Biggie thought about it, it'd be top 5 for him. I'm just betting, knowing his taste.
Dude, I got to show you some of these covers this buddy did, man. You can't be like, oh, anyways.
All right.
I'm finding covers in the comic book, the piles, and I'm like, oh my God, this is, oh my God, oh. Come on. I don't do a Frank Miller be like, oh, that's crazy. Lucy was like, oh, look at this. Oh, dude, I wish it did. I say, I wish it did covers like this still. I don't do that with Frank Miller.
You know,
if anything, Frank Miller caused what comics became.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
really?
Like I wrote. Anyways, go ahead.
All right, next up, Bernie Wrightson versus John Romita Jr.
The Black Panther guy.
Indeed, he got one.
And this isn't fair.
I know, right?
Who'd Alex Ross take on?
Terry Moore.
Terry Moore.
Yeah, so this is
Bernie Wrightson. Alex Ross versus Bernie Wrightson. Bernie Wrightson. He might have a better, or Frank Frazetta versus Bernie Wrightson. One of those guys. That's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the one.
So Bernie Wrightson, what you're saying here?
You got to go with Bernie Wrightson.
There are a lot of people.
How many books has he done?
There are a lot of people that actually dislike John Romita Jr. and there's some of his work that I can't defend, but on the whole, I do enjoy it. But yeah, you can't
look.
Bernie Wrightson.
I might not be a huge Romita Jr. fan, but I respect the hell out of it. Okay, I respect the hell out of him. The way what he's put out, his body of work.
Yeah,
and if you crap on his art style, you better just flush Frank Miller down the toilet. So,
I thought somebody was saying that the reason why he got his job was because of nepotism.
No.
Well, you might have got that job through nepotism, but the dude could still go.
Yeah,
okay.
He might have got it, but he built a career on his own talent.
This dude, okay, wrestling terms, John Romita Jr. is like Dustin Rhodes, okay?
Okay.
He's Dustin Rhodes. If you know Dustin Rhodes, he's the guy like, oh, what he did. Oh, and if you look at him, I was like, oh, that's still look. Oh, that's good. You might boo him. You might boo him when you first see him come out. Like, come on, let's do it again. But no, he's going to tell you a story. He's going to show you some crazy stuff. You know, I respect him, and he's still in the game. And he tells, you know, he's still getting hired. He's still making it. Some of these guys, like Sean Phillips, can't even do it.
All right. Next up, we've got Dave Gibbons versus Adam Hughes.
Mm.
What did Dave Gibbons draw?
Black Panther? What? Fantastic 452? Ironheart?
We've started reading the book, and you mentioned it like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, Captain America?
Yeah.
He drew.
So anyways,
drew the Watchmen.
Oh, the Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
Only read 2 issues of it.
Look,
he didn't.
This is where I have many hats. I got the old fuddy duddy man hats, and I got the lover of art, and then I got the kitty. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Gibbons versus Adam Hughes. Teenage Alan.
I love
20-something year Alan. It was a horn dog, whatever. Loves Adam Hughes. Loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful women, all this stuff. Anyways, I'm going with Dave Gibbons because it's just like when you're a kid and you don't want to be around. You're like, oh, I don't like my family. Oh, they're horrible. You get older and you start realizing, you're like, I should have hung out with my family more. I should have cared about my family. I should have been nicer to my this first boo. Then you realize what it is. It's that Dave Gibbons. Even though he doesn't have a huge body of work, what he's got is beautiful. And it's there's something in it where listen, Adam Hughes is nice and shiny and has all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He might be a one-trick pony, and it's women. Again, with Frank Cho, it's the Frank Cho effect. I like Frank Cho's ladies, but his dudes are soft.
Mm.
I got some softness in, Dave Gibbons, man. He's got that Frank Quietly stuff. He's got some ugly people. He can draw guys ugly. He can draw people ugly. He can give you a difference in the faces. Okay? Everybody kind of looks the same. I mean, even John Byrne has that problem. We can say that.
Mm-hmm.
But Dave Gibbons is an artist, Frank Cho versus Adam Hughes. That's there you go. That is the fight. They're women.
So
but going with Dave Gibbons.
What's your vote? Do you know who Adam Hughes is? Like, do you recognize his art?
No.
Okay. I'll give you a sneak peek.
All right.
Rawhide, Lady Rawhide. Oh, I got the whole Black Widow run doing that.
I don't know, do you?
Yeah, if it's the new one. Wonder Woman. So Magic Lasso loves this guy.
All this stuff is his.
I understand what you're saying, Al. Yeah, I'll go with the other guy.
All right.
Gibbons.
I voted for Adam Hughes.
Really?
And he won.
I know you did. I know you did.
But it was not an easy decision.
No. It was an easy decision. Because you voted for Frank Cho, didn't you?
Yeah, I did vote for Frank Cho.
Yeah. You know why? You know why?
Look, Adam Hughes eats Frank Cho's lunch.
I don't care.
Totally
I don't care.
It's not just because of the boobies either. It's all the rest of the
That's why you're turning red. That's why you're
not turn red. I've turned red on this show before, but I did not turn red talking about Adam Hughes' buxom blondes. All right. Here's another interesting matchup. Mike Mignola versus Todd McFarlane.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the guy that owns the Mark McGuire baseball.
No, this is what it is. Todd's fine. Todd was can you say flash in the pan? No. I'm going with Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Mike he's okay. When you talk about Sam Keith, guys like that, he should be against Sam Keith in a sense. But also Mike Mignola is almost what Todd wishes his stuff. Like, dude, if I could draw like Mike Mignola and he's got money, he did the thing. I grew up with Todd McFarlane. I like Todd McFarlane. No disrespect, but I just kind of disrespected him. But Mike Mignola.
Yeah, I agree. Mike Mignola is an artist. If you are, an aspiring.
You're in trouble. Well, what I will say is that does Mike Mignola draw anymore? Does he do anything? If I was going to do a comic book
covers,
if I was going to do a comic book and I wanted a cover done, a guest cover or something, I would pay Mignola before I was like, "Hey, Todd, could you do this Scrabbles?" So.
I was trying to say, if you're an artist that aspires to do comic art, and you think of things outside of the comic book realm to help inspire you, you'll come to appreciate Mike Mignola much more than Todd McFarlane. McFarlane he's a good artist, but an excellent businessman. He figured out how to make a ton of money on a little bit of creativity.
I would have loved
respect him.
Well, I would say a little bit. Dude's got a brain. Listen, I would have loved if Todd would have kept going. If he would have kept going, where would he actually been? If he would have kept drawing.
Why didn't he keep going?
Because he didn't have to.
Because he didn't care about the art. He didn't care about the comics. He found other people to do the work.
Well, I don't know about that. The toy lines he's putting out
are not comic books.
You gotta be. He loves those characters. He loves the logos. He loves the image.
He didn't love them enough to go get paid a bunch of money to keep drawing them.
Well, I know what's that. No, Magnolia hasn't done. Come on, look, Shaq. We gotta disagree on this.
It is.
Magnolia is like Sam Keith, buddy. You said you gotta look. They kind of got that. I would pick Sam Keith over Todd McFarlane too. I know. I loved Todd when I was a kid. I loved him, but he doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up.
Oh,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but I thought we were talking about the inside of the books.
All of it. Look, let's do it. We do it. I want to see. This is round 2. McFarlane versus Magnolia. We'll just all the covers, but not here. We'll not do it here. We'll do it another time.
We'll do a deep dive on contrasting Magnolia versus.
All right, let's go. Sorry.
All right, we'll come back to that on another episode. All right, next, and this is why I love comics. Heart was broken in this round right here. George Perez versus Brian Boland.
Really?
Look, I love Boland a whole lot, and his art it's like Dave Gibbons. It's like, man, but Perez is like Buscema for me. He's like Kirby. You can tell I have a certain taste.
Mm-hmm. Part of it's like when what you were brought up on, just like home.
I'll tell you what. No offense to Perez. Perez is like home cooking. Boland's like eating out. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Perez is like, ooh, mom's got some. Ooh, dad's got some good cheeseburgers. Yummy. Ooh, and then Boland's like, oh, we going to like freaking Hacienda or someplace, we're going to Ponderosa. I don't know. We're eating out. So that's the difference there. I can't.
Perez.
Perez, because I'm a nut.
And Brian Boland won.
Of course he did, because everybody loves Sean Phillips. Because, dude, like I said, Brian Boland's that special, like, I don't eat it all the time, but I'm going to get that. That looks so good. You save up for a Brian Boland. George Perez he takes care of you. He nurtures you. He gives you, and you take him for granted until he's gone. And then you're like, man, I wish George Perez was still here.
All right, next up, Howard Chaykin versus Art Adams.
Who?
Howard Chaykin versus Art Adams.
Oh, hey.
Art's
I like Howard Chaykin. I know a lot of people probably are iffy on him. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that does a lot of different outside the box stuff to me. I've always loved his Black Hawk and Domino Fortune, all that stuff. Dominic Fortune. Who's the other guy?
Art Adams.
Art Adams. I just had too many posters and T-shirts of that dude, so I got to go with Art Adams. It's art for sure. Chaykin's like the grown-up man going, "Hey, you want to see some girls with weird boobs?" Well, Art Adams, it's great. He reminds me of a art design, like his art would be on a Matchbox cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it.
Yeah, I voted for Art Adams as well. Howard
He's
Chaykin,
oversaturated, though. Art Adams is oversaturated.
And he's to the point that for years he's just a cover artist. So Howard Chaykin is, if he's doing art, he's drawing the whole comic.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Howard Chaykin, if you're ever at a comic book show, definitely talk to him. You will walk away not knowing if you love him or hate him.
No
He's
thanks.
that kind of guy that he will incredibly engaging. He'll get you laughing, and then he'll say something that's totally set you off on the wrong, and you're like,
I know those people.
Anyways.
oh, too late.
Hey, too late. Sorry. Ooh.
All right, next up, we got another landslide here. Will Eisner versus Jim Starlin. I say landslide because it's hard to live up to Will Eisner and Jim Starlin.
Yeah. I like Jim Starlin stuff. It's kind of Mike Grellish. Him and Jim Starlin should be against Mike Grell. But Will Eisner for sure.
Yeah, I have to say I like Starlin's earlier work and not so much his later work, but Eisner, master of the craft. All right,
and Pat Broderick versus Mike Starlin would probably be Jim Starlin star. They kind of have that.
I mean, they named the award after Eisner. And if you spend 5 minutes over at the Hood Cave, you know that the answer is Eisner or else you're getting kicked out.
Special 2-hour show.
We've actually got a Will Eisner poster in the living room, so that shows how much respect this household has for him. Next up, Tony Harris versus Rob Liefeld.
Liefeld for life.
Tony Harris did Walking Dead, right?
No, Tony Harris did Ex Machina and.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was the guy I was getting confused with Promethea artist J.H. Williams, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, come on, man. It's Rob Liefeld.
I mean, he did a Levi's commercial.
I voted for Rob Liefeld as well, but Tony Harris won.
What? No, you did. You just buy Ex Machina all the time.
I did.
Love that dude.
But I gave more respect to Rob Liefeld for his body work over Tony Harris.
The Liefeld hate is real.
Yeah, this is actually Neil Adams cover.
Yep.
Because they didn't trust him.
Let's see. We're burning through the rest of this. We got about 10 more rounds to go. We got Murphy Anderson versus George Tuska.
Oh, Tuska by far.
Tuska is one of man. I can look him up because I knew the name.
No. Murphy Anderson, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you hold up that Jimmy Olsen, that Murphy Anderson probably inked that one.
He at least did the face, didn't he?
that was the rumor. Okay, next.
Yeah, Murphy Anderson might have inked. No, Murphy Anderson is the yeah. Come on. George Tuska, that was good, but Murphy Anderson.
I don't know who that is, but I know Murphy Anderson is.
Steve Ditko versus Don Heck.
Ooh.
Really? I thought Ditko is one of those guys who's responsible for what we for all the comics that we have today.
Or I mean, like Doctor Strange. 60s Ditko. I'll take 60s Ditko over Don Heck, but Don Heck was a workhorse, man.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers, Wonder Woman, all that stuff. His lines, I don't. I think Magic Lasso should chime in on this. Don Heck, or if he's still here, Murphy or Magic Lasso should be like Don Heck, because he was like him and George Tuska. Didn't they do Wonder Woman a lot?
I got to look up George Tuska. I got to admit.
Anyways, Murphy Anderson, yeah, he is underrated. Him, and I always saw him and Kurt Swan.
Huh.
You know what George Tuska
I'm
is
changing my vote.
Known for?
I'm surprised you didn't change your vote once you saw that tiara, as you like to call it.
Very good.
Oh, I think we lost somebody. Magic Lasso left. Do you like us anymore?
He drew Luke Cage, Hero for Hire.
Yeah, but he also did.
No, I had a shirt similar to that when I was in high school. I really
Iron Man.
Kurt Swan versus George Tuska. Yeah.
So he did some Iron Man.
We did Black Diamond too.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I'm sorry, I stick with mine.
So Steve Ditko definitely over Don Heck.
Let's see where it go.
Neil Adams versus Mark Bagley.
Mark Bagley, without a doubt.
I'm sorry, Mark Bagley.
Hey, I like Mark Bagley, but Neil effing Adams, come on. Just
I think that's what they should call from now on. Neil effing Adams.
Neil effing Adams. That dude not only changed the game of the art game, but he did so much behind the scenes for creator rights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Him and Jerry Robinson. Come on.
And not only that, do I love Neil Adams, I really do not like Mark Bagley. Sorry.
You know, I respect Mark Bagley. What does that?
So here's another tough round right here. Wally Wood versus Jose Garcia Lopez.
Wally Wood. I've heard of him.
Oh man, that's like no, I can't judge.
All right, we're gonna pull up some images on this one.
I'll tell you this. I'll say Wally Wood's all around because his sequentials beautiful. But Lopez did those covers and did some good stuff. But yeah.
Let's see what can I find here. This looks cool.
I don't know. Yeah, I probably have to go Woods, man. It's harsh to, you know.
So here's some Wally Wood.
His Thunder agents are awesome because that's where Jerry Ordway came from. That's early. Yeah, he is.
His page is on the left. Somebody else did the one on the right. But I mean, the thing about Jose Garcia Lopez
was the house guy, man. He was the model sheet dude. You know, if you're gonna draw Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, he's the guy that put it out for the advertisements. You know. All right, you're taking too long on this. We can move on.
Wonder Woman.
Here we go.
Look at that picture. It's exciting. Okay. You should have really thought of this before you started.
Indeed.
Yeah, but this is boring, Lopez. That's the thing. This is just man.
I just had to find something, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, that's nice. Well, Lasso, where were you, man?
So,
Mommy.
Lasso, we were going to ask you. See, where were we at? Oh,
well, we got Wood versus Lopez.
Yeah, but let's go back to. We were going to ask Magic Lasso his preference of Steve Ditko versus Don Heck.
Yeah, what do you got?
You got there.
Don Heck, who basically closed out pre-crisis Wonder Woman. You don't care. I don't think he likes Wonder Woman.
He loved the Garcia Lopez. So the winner for that round, the Wally Wood versus Garcia Lopez matchup, Wally Wood won. So he says,
Ditko, even though Don Heck did.
Wow. Okay.
60s Ditko, I'll take.
All right, let's see.
I mean, you got to think of the characters that he helped create, you know.
Yep. Okay. What about Murphy Anderson versus George Tuska, Magic Lasso? I know he's going to be a fan of both of those artists too, I think.
So what do we got going on here?
Next, we've got Carmine Infantino versus Al Williams.
Who's Al Williams?
Williamson. I think it's supposed to be Williamson.
I think
he's the guy that he drew a lot of the Star Wars between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but he was also an EC artist way back in the day.
Oh.
I mean, that's
all right, I gotta go
Infantino, right? I mean, I've heard of him.
Yeah, Infantino, of course, because I'm now looking at the pre-crisis Flash. You know, pre-crisis when he was the trial, and you can find those for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been long box diving. I've been finding comic book shops up in Michigan. I've been going to antique malls,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, man, these covers are pretty, man. The whole trial, the whole Professor Zoom reverse flash stuff. I think after I get up, because right now I'm on my Captain America run. I'm trying to get all the caps.
Mm-hmm.
I might go and get a lot of. I might just do it anyways when I have more money. But I'm going to grab some of those flash. I got a lot of them. I want to do more. But he was a steady artist, and Fantino, I got him.
I voted for Al Williamson. He's a realist artist. I really got turned off Infantino because I was first introduced to him when he was doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
As a kid, being a Star Wars fan, the way he drew the characters, I couldn't stand it.
Huh.
I'm with you on that. Like when I was a kid, I was like, ugh. But now that I'm going back and looking.
Yeah, I'm much more appreciative of his Silver Age stuff for sure.
And again, he ran DC for the 70s, you know.
Yep. All right, let's see here. Next up, we're almost done. We've got Jim Aparo versus Dave Cockrum. This was a tough matchup for me.
Oh, my God. My boy Jim Aparo versus... Dude, I'm sorry. I love Jim Aparo, but Dave Cockrum, is chewing the scenery right now. That dude is... Dave Cockrum is so underrated. Jim Aparo is underrated, but he stuck to his boy, Batman. He was Batman. Dave Cockrum created so many images, so many of the suits we love. Storm, Wolverine, all these, Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did Legion of Superheroes. His art is underrated, man. Dave Cockrum, I take Dave Cockrum.
I think both artists they really get overshadowed by their contemporary peers that also work on the same things they did.
All I'm saying is Storm like a white girl.
Can I share this? Can I share this on my...
Share what?
I can't share this to my thing, huh? My Facebook.
Oh. Yeah, we probably could have set it up to that beforehand. But
I could share it if I was on YouTube. But I'm not. Yeah.
So I voted for Jim Aparo because I became a Batman fan because of his art when I was a kid.
Okay.
I mean, he kind of spun off of Neil Adams. He had the big bright blue billowy cape, and there was just something about it that I loved.
What was your AOL
Sorry. We can't be friends anymore.
I was never on AOL Instant Messenger.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you share this? Do you share the YouTube thing on your Facebook or anything?
No, I don't.
You should, so they can watch it while they'll find it.
I should. I don't. I do the Seinfeld "Don't cross the streams" kind of thing where
you should cross the streams.
I know. All right. Let's see. Chris Sprouts versus, I believe this was Andy Kubert.
Oh, that's not Dylan Sprouse.
Oh, Chris Sprout. He should have been against Chris Samney, I think. That's kind of like Jim or Mike Ringo.
Yeah,
that was the kind of. Who was the other guy?
Andy Kubert.
Andy.
Mm-hmm. So he would have been the one that did the Captain America run, the Kazar work, tons of stuff on X-Men.
Yeah.
He was the one that between him and Andy, he drew the more lean
Adam. Yeah, Andy draws more like a runny version of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Chris.
Chris Sprouse won. I believe I voted for Andy Kubert.
Yeah. You said Adam or Andy? Adam or
this was Andy, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, we got Joe already.
Yeah, Joe beat
the living dog out of whoever it was.
Who did he win over? Let me find him. Bill Everett, which was a bad draw for Bill Everett, but yeah.
Yeah, Bill Everett should have been against Wally Woods, or Jerry Ordway versus Wally Woods would have been good.
Yep.
I think.
All right. You asked about one of these artists earlier. We got John Buscema getting a bad draw over Nor Breyfogle.
John Buscema, we already had John Buscema.
I thought so too.
Yeah, he was against somebody else.
Frank Miller. Hey, Andy, what's up with that? How'd we get two John Buscemas in this mess?
Frank Miller just got saved.
You might have. I'm gonna have to take this up.
No, Norm Brayfogle should be saved.
Oh. I guess we got a Brayfogle Miller match coming up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Alex Toth versus Joe Maduria.
Who?
Alex Toth versus Joe Maduria.
Oh, no, John Buscema. Who was against?
Sal was also on this list.
Sal and John were on this list, so John Buscema versus someone's got something wrong.
Yep. And Andy, some of the things you had marked on this list, I don't know if you noticed, were you have the wrong winners in some cases, especially the one.
Yeah, Andy.
Or the second from the end of the list.
We're going with Alex Toth.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I can see that, today's kids probably like Joe Maduria better because they don't know any better.
No, I like Joe. I like Joe when he was running, when he was doing his stuff before he became like a video game guy and like disappeared. Great. But Alex Toth was like, come on, man. We're still wanting to be Alex Toth artists,
Yep.
I don't think what he's saying is one of them was supposed to be Sal.
Sal was in this. We already did.
Yeah, Sal was against somebody else already.
He was way up here at the top somewhere. Joe Staton was who took on Sal Buscema.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He is up there twice then.
Let's see where we at here. Mike Allred versus Mark Silvestri.
Toth gets a bad rap. No, he doesn't.
Well, it's because people don't know him.
Why, did he lose?
No, he wasn't the batting for Kirby. That was what was his name?
Okay, so what was the last one we had?
I'll get back to you on that. Mark
Silvestri versus who?
Mike Allred.
Man,
that was an interesting one, huh?
Look, if I ever got Jim Lee, then I'm not gonna need Silvestri in a sense. Right? But who did I pick on? It doesn't matter. Mike Allred, because I'm crazy and I liked he's different. It's like because he comes from that early 90s as Love and Rockets. He's got, when you think of Madman, you think of like the Tick and stuff like that. Rocketeer and all that.
Love and Rockets.
Huh?
You could just stop at Love and Rockets.
Well, he didn't do Love and Rockets.
He just said he did Love and Rockets.
He did?
No, the Hernandez brothers did Love and Rockets. He got to start on Madman and then did things
he
like
did some stuff earlier.
Madman was the stuff he cut his teeth on.
Okay.
But he did like a Silver Surfer run. He's done a lot. X-Force, the X-Force stuff you read.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
He did something early. Before that. Oh, well.
So who's your pick?
Allred.
Yeah, me too.
Silvestri's great, though.
David Mazzucchelli versus Olivier Coipel.
Who?
David Mazzucchelli versus Olivier Coipel. Let's see. The auditing firm is Press.
Oh, okay, I know.
I'm just saying, once again, Olivier, they robbed my French brother because Coipel is the best. He did a lot of great work on, was that Batman?
He's like Thor. I like
the X-Men.
You know who should be on here? Was it? Oh, man.
He did some stuff on Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, he did great work on Spider-Man. Especially the storyline about when he beat up the Flash.
You know why he's defending Olivier Coipel, right?
No.
What? I'm defending Olivier Coipel because he's an excellent artist.
He is an excellent artist.
All right.
Because he's French.
I'll go with
He's also
He ain't African American.
he's probably African Canadian. I think.
Oh, Canadian.
who is facing him?
Canadian. Since he's Canadian, we're going.
Who is he facing?
David Mazzucchelli.
Or Mazzucchelli.
Mazzucchelli, hands down. Let me restate that. I love Olivier Coipel's work. He's one of the best, more modern artists, best artists of the 2000s. But Mazzucchelli, yeah,
That's subjective. So yeah, let's go.
So who are you picking?
He's picking Mazzucchelli.
Olivier. Because where's Mazzucchelli now? We're having him.
I don't know. He might.
He did two good, memorable things.
Next, Tony Daniel versus Carlos Pacheco.
Tony Daniels versus Carlos. Oh, come on. Tony Daniels? Yeah.
Right. Carlos Pacheco wins.
Carlos, bro. He was the best, man. I loved him. Excuse my French. Pardon me.
Coipel forgives you.
Carlos.
Okay, we got four more to go.
You get me going 2 hours on here.
Four more to go. Steve Lytle versus Scott Campbell. Scott Campbell.
Okay, is that J. Scott Campbell?
Yeah.
The guy that did the art for Strange Academy?
I'll go with Steve Lightly.
You're going with Steve Lytle?
Really?
Lytle, yeah.
I even know J. Scott Campbell. Of course, once again, he does a bunch of covers.
Yeah.
I'm going with, I'll tell you why, because he's underrated and like yeah, I just like his stuff.
Okay. I voted for J. Scott Campbell and he won.
Of course you did. Because it's the Adam Hughes Frank Cho thing. You like boobs.
Steve Rude versus Ivan Rice.
Is Steve related to Ravishing?
No.
Yeah. Man, that's hard, but I'll go with Steve Rude.
I did too.
I like Ivan Rice though, but Steve Rude.
Andy, this is one that you have marked wrong on the list. And I think you, even in round 2, the voting, you had the wrong person in here. P. Craig Russell versus Alex Maleev.
P. Craig Russell. Definitely P. Craig Russell.
I don't know.
Yeah. I voted for Alex Maleev. And on the show, Alex Maleev won, but on the list I'm looking at, we had P.K. Russell marked as the winner.
PC.
Lastly, this was another pretty tough matchup, and they're both modern working artists today, and I think they're both right in the top 3 or 4 in the game. Jorge Jimenez, or George Jimenez, if you're American, versus Dan Mora.
Oh, he's the new world's finest guy, right?
Yeah.
What did you?
George Jimenez is, I don't know if he's the current Batman artist, but he's worked on Batman in the last year or two. He does incredible work. Looks like we got some comments coming in here late.
I've started like George Perez lost by a much bigger margin than admitted. Rude is good. Next is
Yep.
I can't remember or a Jimenez. Not that I wanted you to take 5 hours.
You know what's going to happen.
Should have had a folder ready. Anyways, yeah, Wiley should have won, dude. He's unique compared to Campbell, who was you want to talk about sellouts, anyways.
Cover artist.
What was the other guy? Who was he facing?
Dan Mora versus this guy.
They kind of got the same feel.
Yeah.
They're kind of the same.
This guy's got more cross-hatching, more detail in him.
Yeah, well,
more simple.
I'll go with Dan Mora.
I do too. And Jorge Jimenez won.
I'd have to see his sequentials.
They're good. He's like I said, these two are, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's some dudes that weren't on here that should have been. Carrie, he did a lot of Conan stuff.
Kerry Nord.
Yeah, he was good. He was awesome. I blame it. Yeah, blame me because I didn't do the list. We'll just say this. Norm Brayfogle, I probably would have picked him. Not over John Buscema. I think John Buscema still wins that. But Norm Brayfogle, put him against Mike Dado or whatever. That dude, that chump. Anyways.
So before Mike and Andy put this list together, they did do kind of a
drugs?
Or no.
Oh.
After they
drugs.
let us go through the list and vote, they asked if we could think of any other artists to add, and I couldn't at the time, but some have come to mind since then.
It was put Norm versus Scott Campbell, man. I had Brayvogel wipe him up, man.
Just saying, Brian Stelfreeze, one of the preeminent Batman artists of our time, should be on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I tried.
We should have artist court. So, like, you pick an artist, or artist Coliseum, right? So we'll pick. And then you bring your stuff, man. You bring all you got for your favorite artist, and I'll bring mine, and then we'll see whose stuff is chosen. And I'm telling you,
Scott Young will wipe the floor with y'all. What are you talking about?
So other artists that came to mind after this list was done, Dan Jurgens, I thought was an interesting person not to include.
Dan Jurgens.
I don't think he'd win, but I think he deserves to be on this list over Steve Lytle.
Art-wise, man, get on with yourself, fool. What are you talking about?
Another one of my current favorite artists is Lee Weeks. Was not.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, Lee Weeks. I'd put him over Dave Michelli.
I probably might too.
Yeah, because he just aped his stuff and got it better with it. Sorry.
Yeah, that happens. So that's the list. That's what we got for the first round. I want to thank Andy and Mike for letting me steal their idea and make 2 hours of content out of it. And
2 hours.
You better chop this up. He will.
You're
probably gonna get beat up. Somebody's gonna beat you up when you get out of here.
Viewers to your podcast to get you more
2 hours
listens to it. And when the whole thing's done, we'll have to have those guys on and talk about it.
Oh,
I got some issues. I got some issues with these wins, man. Like, come on, Mike Zeck, Steranko, man.
I think Biggie might be.
Yes, drugs.
I think Biggie might be. He might have paused and came back.
Cool. Hey, you do that. Thanks, Biggie, for watching, for doing that. Yep. I tell you what, though, this is fun. I had fun. 2 hours of fun.
I learned a lot and I had fun.
Here we go. Yeah, he's caught up. Dan Jurgens is better than a lot of those.
But hey, are we ever gonna do the follow-up? I don't know if anybody paid attention to our slamming of Weapon X.
Yeah, we are going to do the Captain America. I've read through the first maybe quarter of the trade, first 5 or 6 issues, something like that.
Yeah, we're doing Cap no more. If no one,
Biggie saying that Al Milgram's missing from this list.
Yeah, he's an Inger more. I've got a lot of Al Milgram. He kind of like ape. He kind of is like a Kirby-ish. He likes to do Kirby stuff, but I think he's more of like a house artist. So it's cool.
Have anybody on my wall that we missed?
What about that guy?
Which one?
The Blockbuster Detective Comics.
That's right.
Carmine Infantino.
Infantino.
Yeah, I don't know who.
All right.
These, but everything else.
Well, I got a life I got to get to.
Right. All right. So we'll let you go. We'll let everybody go that's been watching. Thanks for joining us. We had and this is why I love comics is along for most of the ride. Biggie Shack's here. Anthony Lewis popped his head in. We had Magic Colossal joining us earlier. Thanks everybody for joining us live. Like I said, make sure you check out our friends and this is why I love comics podcast. They do a great job of digging into comics, sharing a little bit of their life story and things along the way. It's a very fun show. They lack the visual element of being able to hold up their work. Got a cover story on Frank Skill Model this month.
It's not my work, but it's my purchases, and I love it.
There you
Wait
go.
a second, hold up now. Talk about this. My man's on the cover.
Twice, 2 times.
2 times. 2 times. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated once, but that's nothing compared to this.
For real in the stands?
I
Stand on the sideline?
It was at a game when LeBron was in high school. I was in the top row of the bleachers.
I'll be a judge.
All
Let me pick these artists.
Woohoo.
We'll hold you to that. All right, so we'll sign off. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Remember, keep your priorities straight. Faith, family, comic books. We'll see you next time, guys.
See you.